Hey, everybody. Welcome to I Am Reality Now, where you're the star and story of your reality. I am Mitch.
And I'm Stephania.
And today we have a wonderful topic. It's I am the contrast. And, being contrast really evokes your love for who you are. It evokes and compels you as love to be everything that you are. Because without contrast, you wouldn't be purifying yourself, purifying your world. And I think that this will be a wonderful topic to understand that there's nothing wrong in contrast. It's only good and very good. Steph?
Yeah, 100% Mitch. I love this topic, and it's going to be really useful for you guys to remember, recognize, and realize that you're not really fighting against anything, that you too are part of the contrast, and you can keep your peace as something else reflects that you don't prefer. And so you know that it's an extension of you, so it can't hurt you. And with that, you get to choose continuously over and over and over again what you do prefer. Right, Mitch?
Yeah, it really all is all about what you prefer. And anytime you have contrast, you have to literally look at the contrast that it has no consciousness within it. You're the consciousness, you're the revision. And that's what contrast does, because think about it. What is revision? Revision is revising, entering into the opposite, revising the opposite in what you prefer. And that's what love does, because love thrives on love. And that's what it's all about. So, when you realize that in the appearances there really is there is no mouth, there is nothing telling you anything, there's nothing making you feel a certain way, and that when you realize that, and that in that contrast, it's really you. It's really you defining it. There's nothing outside you telling you anything. You're always the one telling yourself what things mean. And when you give a meaning you don't prefer, it's illusory. It's not really true. And that's the contrast you're really sensing. That's the contrast you're being aware of. It's really yourself. So whenever you're looking at appearances, or anything you're looking to change about yourself, anything outside you, anything within you, your inner conversations, you're looking at meaning. You're looking at what you prefer, and you're realizing that you're the one, you're the authority. So when we talk about contrast, a lot of times we're talking about revising, because we're just entering into the opposite. So a lot of what we're talking about with contrast is really your choice to revise. Contrast compels you to really enter into the opposite of what you prefer, being what you prefer from what you don't prefer.
Yeah. And what I love about this, guys, is that you can peacefully, just observe the opposite and sit in your stillness of knowing that it doesn't really need to affect you. You just don't need to identify with it. Right. So you see things that are not going as you planned. Perhaps they don't look exactly like the solution that you have in your mind. However, that doesn't really have to shake you up. You don't have to dwindle down into despair that it's not working out for you. You can just observe it peacefully and be like, no, this isn't it yet. We talk about in our last videos, we've talked about the continuation of the scenes, right? Because life continues on. So just because it didn't happen in this exact instant that you were so craving this desire, right? Just because it didn't happen in the physical, in that frame, you have infinite frames to move
Mhm.
after. So, like, it keeps continuing. And the contrast doesn't have to be so jarring because it's just showing you a different form. It's kind of like saying you wanted pizza for dinner and then you got a burger. You still have dinner tomorrow. Like, really, is it really that serious that, you got so upset that they delivered a pizza, I mean, a burger as opposed to the pizza? So you just hold on and then you know that tomorrow you will get your pizza. So it's really that simple. It's truly, truly that simple.
Yeah, and I think it's also about looking at the appearances, that they're not creating anything. They're not creating any acts. They're not creating they're compelling you of what you desire, but they are not making you feel a certain way. I mean, I have notes. I even made notes for myself. They're not creating the acts, or they're not creating your states of being. Only you can create a state of being. So you're really living in a world of being a painter and an artist. and you're being compelled to make the picture that you want, to create the world that you want, and you're always being compelled to expand all the time, and that's what contrast is doing. Desire. So this is, I think Steph and I talked about this earlier. Desire is what contrast actually is. All desire is actually contrast, otherwise you wouldn't have desire. So you're being compelled by desire. That's it. So we look at it, sometimes we look at words as contrast, and sometimes that can be a little illusory in the sounding of contrast, like, oh, this is not, but that's really, desire is just love. You love, you thrive on it, and love thrives on love. So everything in your world, you're always contemplating to be better and more exciting and dreaming, because that's who you are. That's what love does. Love is the desire to thrive. And the desire to thrive is some kind of level of contrast. That's what desire and thriving is. You could be the best of the best and still thrive. That's contrast, regardless of anything. You could be a 9.9999, you want to be a 10. That's contrast, even though it's 0.0001.
Yeah.
You are perfection, so you always know the difference between perfection in what you perceive as perfection and what's not perfection. And that's what contrast is. You yearn, and you always desire and thrive and dream and see everything in a beautiful way and blissful, because that's who you are, and that's how you could sense it. And you could imagine the best of anybody that can be. And that's what contrast does. We're just simply, we as love are engineered to have contrast, because that's how we become better and more we know ourselves as love. Knowing yourself as love is contrast, because you're always learning more. Learning is contrast. So
Yeah.
that's why, consciousness is to know itself as consciousness. Love is to know itself as love. And knowing and learning more of who we are is a contrast.
Yeah. And it's important for me to convey that you don't need to be afraid of the contrast. Again, this whole video started off with a conversation we had with Mitch where I was saying that even if people really close to you, that love you, say something about you or behave in a way that is contrasting, right, than what you prefer, or say things to you in a way that you don't prefer, that doesn't mean that it's there to attack you. Like, you don't have to take a personal attack or identify as it if it's being presented in front of you. You don't even have to feel any negative way about it, right? And you become really powerful when you dismantle the positive and negative, kind of like connotations around certain things in your life. And you just say, like, okay, that's just unpreferred. And I'm going to, like Mitch said, re envision it. I say re envision, but it's really revision as Neville Goddard taught it. And, reimagine it, re rehearse it. What do I prefer? And then even if what you don't prefer shows up, it has no emotional attachment to you because you're not identified with it. Like, I've been saying this over and over. If somebody calls you a different color, a different gender, a different species, why would it affect you if you know it's not your truth? If somebody just calls you a different name, like, okay, who cares? That's on them, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. And the interesting thing is that it's all valid because we live in a world where there's so many and infinite perspectives that all of it is valid. Like, an ant, literally a little small bug, has a completely different perspective of the world than you do, right? So if we're looking at somebody else's brain as well, the way they look at life, it's valid because that's their story. That's their first person, like, perspective. And there's nobody to fight. What are we going to fight to prove something to somebody else that has never experienced your, your lane? So it's really cool when you let go of that, trying to prove to the contrast or fight the contrast. You're just like, okay, so this is where we're at. What do I prefer? I am loved, I'm safe, I'm supported, I'm valuable. And then you start playing with it. You have so much fun with life because you see it as a painting, like Mitch just said. You play with the colors. You're like, these are the colors of the rainbow. Which one do I prefer the most? And then you're gonna have like a blue period, and then you're gonna have a green period where you prefer green, and then you adapt it according to what you prefer. And it doesn't matter what was there before. It really doesn't matter. It's here now. Now is the only reality, really. Nothing ever happened before. It's just what you prefer to decide to experience moving forward. And and the drawing, the painting, the art amplifies around you, which is your experience.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think with the art and the colors, we're really talking about everything, all possibilities. We have the ability to sense everything everywhere all at once. There's everything everywhere all at once because um there is infinite meanings to everything, infinite. And as a result of there being infinite meanings, we are really compelled with choosing what we prefer, which is also infinite because giving meaning to what you prefer is infinite. And there is so many ways to enjoy and entertain, and as you develop and as you grow, you have more ways to develop what you prefer. More and more and more to different degrees of discernment. So the contrast is always there because you're always growing, and as you grow,
Yeah.
you just like kind of when you were younger, you like certain foods, and then you didn't like maybe tomatoes when you were younger, and then all of a sudden you love tomatoes. So this is contrast that develops as you grow. You learn like, "Ooh, that's a different taste." And sometimes different tastes grow on you. And then you look forward to those things, or you look forward to those experiences. You like going to certain vacation places. You look forward to certain types of people that you're around. So this is all contrast. You're learning who you are. You're learning. Oh, I like that. I like that. Ooh, I like better. I like to maximize that. This is a sheer power that we have. We don't really realize the degree of the power that we have to discern and to choose, and it's really unlimited. And when you realize that you're unlimited in this way, that's why we have contrast. And these are just symbols. These are all symbols to remind us that we are limitless. These are symbols because anything we want, it changes the way we like things, or it changes what we want now. I used to like this, now I like that. It doesn't mean it's wrong of what we liked before. It's simply contrast, and that expands us. And the fact that we can entertain something bigger means that we're powerful. We really should look back and to realize that we're powerful, not to say, "Well, I like that more." Who did that? How could you entertain that you like more? How can you entertain that you want to live here or go there or have this relationship? The ability to entertain things is contrast. That means that your sheer power to entertain that. To say, what is the feeling like for me to have that or experience that? That's sheer power. We didn't have that before, where, that experience made us have contrast. So it makes us really appreciate who we are and realize who we are. We're learning who we are in these experiences. And that's what even more contrast does. This is only to really reflect who we truly are, remind us who we truly are, because that's what love is.
Yeah. It basically it just presents itself to allow us to choose what we prefer, really, right? We're like playing with Legos, guys. Really, this world is so beautiful. So there should I didn't like to say the word should, but I want to convey the fact that it's simple, it's easy. When you see a problem arise in your life, just see it solved. Like, what would you prefer? You want to see your car working, you want to see your job thriving, you want to see your clients happy. And anything that is not what you prefer, it's simply giving you strength and your courage and your faith muscle. You're like, oh, I don't prefer this. What do I prefer? I want to see everybody thriving in my family. I want to see prosperous people and abundant meals, and the fridge is full, the economy's doing good and better each day. My country feels safe. My community is supportive. And that's a purification. That's a forgiveness muscle, right? Like, and it's really our personal responsibility to see it the way that we prefer it because nobody's going to do it for us. Otherwise, we're going to run away from this world and, sit around blaming and pointing fingers that it's somebody else's responsibility to fix it. And when you actually start doing it from this perspective, it's going to change your life. This is why Mitch and I have this channel.
Mhm.
This is why this is my truth. I am certain, I am unshakable in the knowing that the only change in your life is going to be within yourself, purifying forgiveness, forgiving the scenes, right? Consistently cleansing what you don't prefer. Okay, I'm going to send love to the contrast. I'm going to send love to anything that is, chaotic and everything that looks painful, everything that's illness, anything that doesn't really make sense really, right? Because we're loved, we're safe, we're supported, we're
Mhm.
valuable, we are prosperity. All of it is. All of us can have that. There is no limit to the abundance of this world because that's the emergence of love, right? Growth, flourishing. And anything that tells you otherwise, it is anything that tells us otherwise is our responsibility to purify. Okay, I saw a person behave in a different way. I have this fear. I have this memory. None of that exists. Let me purify it. Let me forgive it. Let me, see it in a different way. And at first, it seems a little bit tricky to the logical mind, right? But the internal movement really is what's going to give you the satisfaction and the fulfillment now, right? Not chasing anything outside of you, but being one with the contrast while deciding who you are. So you're not fighting, you're not ignoring, you're not, completely neglecting your present moment with like this future vision of where you want to be and then like not really enjoying the journey, right, Mitch? Because like it's so
Mhm.
important for me to let you guys know that it is through your graceful communication with the contrast that it's going to continue to purify. So you
Yeah.
don't have to run away from it. You don't have to just live in meditation your whole entire life. You can live the whole lifestyle now, 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 now.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny, a lot of these conversations that we have together on this channel, it really makes you really appreciate who we are, really, because it's really funny that we would not have contrast in any way, shape, or form without love. It's just it doesn't exist. The whole reason contrast is here is because we truly are love. And it's something that sometimes we forget about, like, oh no, or this, that. We wouldn't have this ability whatsoever unless our true identity is love. It would never exist without it. That is the only reason we have contrast in any way, shape, or form is because that's who we are. We thrive on being love. We discern when anything is anything other than to give the appearance of not being love, and we purify it with feeling blissful. We desire this person being healthy. We desire this person being okay. We desire ourselves being okay. That would not exist unless our true identity is love. And that's why it's an essential part of this channel to know that you're loved, because it's their guiding light of why you're compelled to
Yeah.
do things. If you don't know why you're compelled to do things, then you're simply just seeking answers, seeking fulfillment, but not knowing why. And,
Yeah.
and that's appreciation in yourself to know, hey, you know what? I'm a loving person because I am love. And I care. The reason I care about seeing this person be better is because I am love. And I desire feeling blissful because I am love. I desire working with people in a blissful way because I am love. That's why I have the contrast, because I desire this love. I desire thriving in this love. So contrast shouldn't be something to to what's the word, to be concerned about, or to kind of shun, and I don't want this, and react, I don't want this. It's reminding of you of who you are at all times. It's
Uh-huh.
reminding you that, wait a second, I want them this and I want that. It reminds you that you're loved. It's a very special thing when you realize it, because otherwise you're going to react like this is bad and this is good, this
Yeah.
is bad. That doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't really remind you of why you're being compelled, and it's your true nature to be love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. That's your true nature. And
Yeah.
that is gives you a value in this life. It gives you a guiding light in this life. It gives you a purpose in this life. and that even recognizes you even more so. So contrast could be is a very valuable thing because it's actually represents the reason of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really as simple as, a seed having to go through the dirt first and have faith that it's going to come out on the other side, right? Like it doesn't see anything. There's only dirt and then it goes into the air and then now it has contrast with the breeze. The breeze actually strengthens the stem that grows the plant stronger. Without breeze, it will just flop down actually. That's that happened to me during I was growing sunflowers indoor and the stems wouldn't, like, lift, and it was because they needed to be outside to create the strength to grow sturdier and actually, like, rise up to the sky, so it really is like that, guys. There should be
Mhm.
absolutely no reason why you're so afraid. You already know that you're loved. You know that you're not seeking. You know that love is all around you. Peace is all around you. Peace is available to you now. Like right now, this second, everything's perfect right now. So it's not when the relationship, it's not when the job, it's not when the graduation, it's not when. Look around you. Look how beautiful life is already. You have oxygen, you're good. I know that it can be a drastic thing to say to some people. Just remember, though, remember, you can breathe, you have your awareness, you have your imagination, you can choose. And then with your imagination, start seeing how many more things you can love. Okay, maybe you might not feel like people love you in your life or you have the best relationships, but then what you give, you receive. How can you love them more? How can you love the clerk at the gas station? How can you love the person driving next to you? How can you love the plants, the trees, the animals that you see around you? Because you're creating a reality loop. That which you give out is definitely, infinitely has to come back to you. Those are the laws. That it's just who you are. What you give out, you receive, right? So don't for a second think you're neglected or your story is different or nobody cares about you. Um, it's here right now, and if you can't do it physically, do it in your imagination, and you're gonna start seeing how beautiful the power of, prayer is, which is essentially just imagine the best for somebody else. Imagine the best for the people around you. If maybe you don't have the capacity right now to believe in yourself, believe for everybody, like, "Oh, they're doing so well, they're doing so prosperous, they're so happy in their job and their career." Even look at the person that bothers you the most, right? Whatever story you have, when you can love them first in your imagination, you're winning because now you're like, okay, so I can love despite any circumstance, right? And it's gonna make you feel really good. It's gonna make you feel so good, you can't stop it. You're starting to circulate love in your life. You're circulating it to others. You're circulating it back to yourself, and you're gonna have a very beautiful relationship and life experience. So
Yeah.
that was a little rant right there, but
Yeah, it's very fulfilling, and I look at it in terms of polarity. Listen, you go from 1 to 10, so that really is extremely fulfilling to, okay, see somebody that's not healthy, okay, I see them thriving, I see them ecstatic, I see them a big smile. That contrast just simply reminded you of how sheer power
yeah,
you are. So you went from this, "Oh, I'm concerned," "Oh, wow, they got the doctors, okay, big thumbs up, and they're thriving, they're so happy right now." Do you see what just happened? I mean, that's
yeah,
radical power. You're I mean, it's unexplainable in terms of indescribable of what you're feeling. That's love. You've just given love to yourself. Even though you've also given love to them, you're receiving love. That's gratitude. That's
yeah,
receiving is gratitude. You're instantly, you don't have to say I'm grateful. You're receiving that
yeah,
10, that love, and that's what you're giving yourself. You're always giving yourself love. Who you are. That's what
yeah,
contrast is. These are opportunities to always thrive in, and that's what reality does. It gives you all these infinite opportunities to discern who you truly are, because you're giving it to yourself over and over and over and over. Even if it's even light touches, they're just another opportunity. And
yeah,
I'm gonna wrap this up with one example which I love to teach, and that's this easy button. So a lot of times people think, okay, well, I have contrast. I could just hit the easy button. Why can't I just hit a button, right? I'll just change it, change it, change it. But you know what? The appearances, they don't change your state of being. They're not telling you anything. They're not making you feel anything. It's only you. So after a while, the easy button won't even have any effect on you because eventually you say, okay, well, my partner bothers me. I'm going to replace my partner. It doesn't do anything. It'll just make you more miserable after a while, because only your state of being matters. Only love matters. Changing your partner doesn't make you feel more love. It's all temporary because if you're using appearances to define you, it's going to be replacing that partner constantly, replacing that environment constantly. You'll always be in a constant replacement. So that's why state of being is the only way. Your identity love is the only way. An easy button can't give you love being your state of being is love. It can't give that to you. So you can never replace yourself. So
Yeah.
just wanting to throw that out there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, and it really can be easy and it comes with practice, like with anything else. You practice every breath, every day, every encounter, every person you're around. Like you really are like, okay, so I'm fulfilled now. I'm fulfilled now. I'm full. I'm full. I'm full of love. I'm full of myself and who I choose to be. And just the pieces are gonna be so wonderfully added on to you. You'll see. So with that, if you guys want to be part of our conversation, please leave us messages below. Tell us your success stories. If you want to be in our channel, let us know. We can help you clarify, or we want to hear your stories. Also, if you have any ideas or want to contribute to our channel in any way, reach out to us. We have our email, you have our comments. We are open to suggestions and we would love to work together. And with that, Mitch, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie, and thank you everyone for joining us on this episode of I Am Reality Now. And in this, we literally learned that walking by faith instead of by sight is certainly the contrast for you to be all you can be. And it certainly is walking by faith is being loved, and love is always thriving. It's an endless journey of thriving, and we're always being compelled to thrive because we're infinite. And on that note, I am Mitch.
And I am Stephania, and you are reality. We love you guys so much. Have an amazing week. Bye.
Bye, guys.